Well, all season long, up until a couple days ago, Matt Nagy, the beleaguered coach, the embattled coach of the Chicago Bears, had been saying that when healthy, his quarterback is Andy Dalton. And all of a sudden today, seemingly out of the blue, in a complete 180, he names Justin Fields the starter, not for this weekend's game, but for the rest of the season. He talked to Dalton and talked to Fields about it, and that's the way they're going. Rob, what are your thoughts on this?
Matt Nagy is officially done as the Chicago Bears head coach. Whether or not it's official, Chris, or they don't have a date on it or whatever, because this smells, if I were to put my finger on it, I'd have to wash it. That's how much this smells. And it's not a knock on Justin Fields and whether or not, Chris, he's going to be a good quarterback in time in the NFL, but he didn't do anything to make a change of this magnitude by beating the Lions on Sunday. It wasn't like, oh, there it is. Oh, this is what we were waiting on. Oh, my God. No, it was not that. And because it wasn't that, and because this coach has been, belaboring the point that they're not going to just put the kid in and they're not going to do this, not do that, tells me that this came from either above as far as management or ownership, Chris, or it came from the players who told them, you know what? We don't care. Just put the kid in or whatever. This was not Matt Nagy. I don't care what anybody tells me. He didn't have an epiphany. What do they call it? What do you say,
Epiphany.
Chris? Epiphany. All of a sudden, he was pushed into this. This guy's coaching career with the Bears has been tenuous. He was on the, pushed up against the wall.
He's on the hot seat, yeah.
Definitely on the hot seat. And he did what he felt like he had no choice other than to do, because no one would have made such a stink about Andy Dalton, who's a journeyman who played for the Cowboys last year, played in Cincinnati, had some good years, and then, just turned into an also-ran stopgap quarterback. But yet he had his chest stuck out for Andy Dalton for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, ever since they signed him, Chris. He had bass in his voice. Oh, as soon as Andy Dalton's leg is reattached, he's going to be the starting quarterback. That's what it sounded like. As soon as Andy Dalton, right?
Outspoken, yes.
As soon as if Andy Dalton can use this wheelchair out on the field, he's the starting quarterback. Like that, he said anything. Like it would take anything.
Right.
Andy Dalton is the guy. No matter what happens, we don't care. The kid could throw for 900 yards, and Andy Dalton's the starting quarterback. That's what he kept saying. And then all of a sudden, off of a lackluster, an average performance, Chris, I'll say, all of a sudden, he's not only starting this week, he's starting the rest of the year? Really? Okay, thank you, Matt. And make sure you leave your keys and your clicker when you exit, the practice facility in Chicago.
Well, I'm with you on this, Rob. I do think it came down from above, right? Just for him to make that type of turn, I think in one day, it smells to me like the owner said to him, look, let's go with the young boy. I'm demanding that you start Justin Fields. And all of a sudden, Justin Fields is a starter. Now, as you said, he wasn't good. He wasn't terrible. He had improved. He showed improvement because he was terrible
good
against
to make
Cleveland.
That change is what I'm saying.
No, but he showed improvement, and they did get the W. I get it. It's Detroit, but hey, when you Chicago, you take them where you can get them. And so I think he went from 7 for 20 against Cleveland for 68 yards to 11 for 17, 209 yards. Now, still hasn't thrown a touchdown yet. Threw a pick against Detroit, has 2 picks this season. I I would tend to agree with you for the most part, Rob, where you said this is the handwriting's on the wall for Matt Nagy. But look, he's got 12 weeks. He's got 13 games or is it 12 or 13? 13, I guess, left to show the brass, the ownership, what he can do. Maybe. I mean, we think he's got that long, unless he gets fired during the season. But if all of a sudden Justin Fields is showing great development, if all of a sudden, and I don't even know if the wins and losses have to be great. It certainly wouldn't hurt him. But if Justin Fields is showing development under Nagy, if they look like they've got a connection, if he seems to be, improving the young man and they're playing complementary football on the other side of the field and all of that, I don't think it's out of the question that could save him. Now, it didn't save Anthony Lynn. Justin Herbert played well last year with the Chargers.
He was the offensive rookie of the year, Chris, and he still got and Lynn got fired.
Right. Didn't save Anthony Lynn.
They didn't go like, oh, well, it's the first year. Look at what the kid did. Let's give Anthony Lynn another year with the kid. No.
Right. But I do think in this case that Nagy still got a shot. I think he's got a shot. We'll see. I don't know how, whether he'll make good on it or not. But I think if Justin Fields and he work well together and they show some improvement, Fields in particular, major improvement, then I think, it could work. And the interesting thing is this, Rob. What if Fields is horrible? And this is what you and I talked about before. At least this was my viewpoint. I don't remember if you are on board with me. But I felt like leaving it open, kind of saying it's still Dalton, that gave Justin a little bit of cover for if he was bad. If he's horrible the next 3 games, horrible, like he played against Cleveland, and you just had to bench him because it's just a mess, then the narrative becomes a terrible one for Justin Fields. Oh, even though it would be premature, the narrative would be, here's another Ohio State quarterback, Dwayne Haskins, Cardell Jones,
so long, Chris. We
Troy
don't have all
Smith,
day.
right? Here's another one. He's a bust. We made the wrong pick. All of that, which would not necessarily be true, but that would be the narrative. Not to mention it might mess with Fields' psyche. So it'll be interesting, Rob, if he doesn't play well at all, and I mean for successive weeks, would they go back or would they just stick with it? That would be interesting.
Nah,
but maybe he'll play well. Maybe he'll continue showing.
Once you say that, Chris, you really can't.
I go back. You saw last year they kept doing it with 2 and it was a mess.
Right.
So I agree with you. I mean, you just got to stick with him, but hopefully he delivers.
I'm just it's not that we're rooting against him or
no, I like him.
But he hasn't played well enough for them. Like Chris, if he came off the game against the Lions and threw for 300 or 275 and had 3 touchdowns, just something to make you feel like, wow, like he's on his way.
Right.
On a game where he didn't throw a touchdown, 200 yards, a pick.
He made a few nice throws. He made a few nice throws downfield. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, not enough to make you feel like he won the job on Sunday. That's what I'm saying. Like He won the job outright. What's changed?
At this moment,
what's changed is Matt Nagy's not calling things.
He got a phone call. That's what's changed. Right. At this point, Andy Dalton, Rob, I don't even consider him a good quarterback right now or anymore. I don't think he's going to have a resurrection anywhere. But he's still better than Justin Fields at this moment.
Right.
At this moment. I think Fields will ultimately be better. But right now, Dalton is better. And just 2-2. I mean, I don't think they're making the playoffs, but, they got to feel pretty decent about their chances, right? Their losses have been tough. Yeah. Their losses have been tough. The Rams and the Browns. They beat Cincinnati, which is a quality win for them, and they beat Detroit. That is what it is. I'm just saying, I don't think they're making the playoffs, but I think they are still, they're not out of it by any stretch in their mind.
Well, not 4 games in,
right?
And you're at 500. You don't feel that way, but they got a long way to go. I mean, like I said, if you,
I don't think they're good enough to make the playoffs.
If you watch the Lions game, the Lions were inside the 8-yard line, Chris, 3 times. The Bears 8, and came away with no points.
The Lions have shown,
no
the Lions have, they haven't yet gotten a win, and we'll see when that happens.
How's Campbell doing, the head coach? Is he still biting kneecaps?
I do think they play hard, Rob. They just get outclassed.
Where's that Where's that in the win column? The Lions are 0 wins, 4 losses, and 3 hards. Maybe Urban Meyer gets a hard, but 3 hards. What does that mean?
Here we go. On that note, 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. I just got a text, Rob, from Lillian. In the break, she wants you up on the 4th floor. Yes. But and bring your desks, your stuff in your desk with you. Clear it out.
Clicker, right?
Yes. No. Your ID to get in the building.